There you go.
All right. Good morning, everybody, or the last hour if you stayed up for 24 hours. I'm super excited to have shared a little bit at the beginning of the Spark Camp Saturday and now to finish the day off. So, really excited to be back for part two of adopting a product mindset. There are some people joining that weren't here for part one, so I'll just do a brief recap. We're basically taking a look today at what is the world of product, how can we bring it into the world of education, and what are some basic ideas that we can do to get started with that? So let me know where you're joining from in the chat. I think I know most of you that are here, although there are some new faces. So let me know where you're joining from. Great to see so many so globally this morning. So thank you so much for tuning in. And if you're watching this on demand, feel free to tag us and let us know what your takeaways are and how you're going to potentially be using some of these things in the countries that you're supporting education in. Awesome. So if you don't know me, my name is Georgina. I'm tuning in from England in the UK. I'm a Google certified trainer, innovator, Adobe education leader, ISTE certified educator, and a few other bits and pieces. I'm really, really, really excited about my journey and where it's taken me these last couple of years through product. So, coming through as non really side from the corporate or business angles, and going through education and becoming a teacher, and then thinking about like actually where are we helping our students to go at the end of their sort of education journey. Hopefully it doesn't ever stop, right? But as far as the traditional classroom is considered, like where does that take them afterwards? And thinking about what we're doing to help them prepare for the unknown of tomorrow. So, really, really excited to start to think about the products that they might be either working with or helping to develop to help the world. I was listening to a podcast a couple of days ago, and Lex. I've got it in the resources link, so we'll look at that in a second. But and they were talking about how, yeah, some of the conversations that educators are having with their high school students, senior school students are, well, I don't really want to go to university because, the world is set to end in like, 10, 20, 30 years due to climate change. And so kids are exposed to so much media now, and they're aware of so much news and all of the things that are going on globally, and they're actually starting to think about, well, actually, yeah, what does that mean for the time that I have on earth? Or if it is going to continue, what am I going to do with that meaningfully? And so really preparing them to think about, either do they want to be part of the solution to the problems that are coming up, or how are we going to help them spend their time in a meaningful way? And so product is a great way to help them do that, right? To be part of the solution. So, guys, drop in the chat for me. We went through a couple of these questions last time, but just so that everybody gets the full experience, what is one of your favorite products and why? And what is your least favorite product and why? And therefore, sort of what is really the reason that organizations, like, what is their goal? What is their vision, therefore, for products? So let's start with your favorite product. So don't drop it in the chat just yet. We'll do the waterfall approach now that I have the full 20 minutes. So let's start with the favorite product, and let's go with your favorite product and why. And it could be any product, right? It could be a coffee mug, your favorite car, your favorite video game, your favorite book, maybe your favorite digital tool, whatever it is. And I'm going to count down to 5, and then you can drop it in the chat. We'll all push enter at the same time. If you haven't heard of that approach before, that's called the waterfall method. All right. So 5, 4, 3, 2. I was slowing down a little bit there. And 1. I pushed enter too. All right. Polished pottery mug, Carla says. Awesome. And also her Mac, it looks great. Vip says her iPad for work purposes because it's versatile. That's a great reason. Ralph says you could modify a PC and you can do many creative things with it. Claudia says their iPad. Mayuko says Google Keep. Ah, cool. Very versatile and creative also. So when we ask like the why, right? The point is we want to keep asking the why. So for example, Carla says she loves her Mac. It looks great and it knows her every need. Carla, how does it know your every need? Or why do you think it's meeting your every need? Gwen says Google Sheets changed his life. Gwen, how did it change your life? And Claudia says her iPad. Why is the iPad such a great product? Andy says Chromebooks for balance. Oh, I like that. So are we talking about like juggling acts balancing? I'm guessing no, but yeah, the point is what kinds of questions are we asking and how are we trying to dive deeper into understanding why the product is key and the things that we're building. So when we help students go through those conversations of what are things that we want to do to help change the world and to change the problems of climate and energy and sustainability and all those other um, global goals, we have to keep asking why and why is that important and how are people going to buy into the solutions that we want to help them to build. All right, let's take a look at the least favorite product. And now that you have an idea about what we're looking for in the why and the questions we're asking, think a little bit deeper now about why it's your least favorite product. Why does it not work well? So remember, don't hit enter yet, and then we'll do the waterfall approach as well. And while you guys are putting in your answers, very interesting to share with you that the waterfall approach, although we know it in education in the recent years as this waterfall method where it looks like a waterfall of messages that all come down, waterfall is actually a method in product management and product development. So, waterfall is an approach where you go through each stage of product development only one at a time, and there's no synchronicity in the product development process at all. It's a very old sort of legacy method, although that it's still used in some companies. And we're moving more towards the agile approach. So I'm just sharing that little tidbit while you guys are typing in. All right, let's go ahead and click enter and let's see those least favorite products pop in the chat. Awesome. So cheap plastic toys, um, they may be toxic, they may break. So look at all of those reasons coming in. Carla says, CMIS is an attendance program we are forced to use. It's a really good reason. I'm forced to use it. I don't want to use that anymore. Um, James says iTunes is difficult to transfer music. Yeah, fair play. So starting to think about those products, and very interesting to hear that actually, are we still using those products? Like just looking through, so thinking about plastic toys, what kinds of toys actually are we buying for kids these days? I don't know. I don't have my own children, so feel free to share in the chat. But just looking at those three examples that came in, actually, yeah, and the reasons that we don't like them, are we still using them? Are they on their way out, end of shelf life product, and why or why not, right? So really, really important to think about why things work really well and why they don't. And the idea of product management and if you're any part of the product development team is what are we doing with those whys? What are we doing with those hows? And really understanding the needs. And when we apply that concept alone to the world of education, guys, what do we get? We get differentiation and understanding personalized learning at its best. And that's what product development is all about. James says other people selected them for their needs. Yes, absolutely. So always taking a look at everybody's needs. Okay, so the product journey in and of itself, if you think of a product, so we have this wonderful Google Innovator mug. Always, if you're part of a Google cohort, hopefully that's something sitting in your cupboard in the kitchen. But whatever the product is, it has a life cycle. Now, for me, my Google Innovator mug may never have an expiry end of shelf, right? Because I'm going to continue to use it. But if you think about products that go out there in the world, right, it goes through discovery. So thinking about a problem that exists, and Canopy do a great job with the Google innovators to think about actually, yeah, um, what are the problems that we are all facing in education and actually what can we do about it, but we always focus on the problem and unpicking why is it a problem and why does that bother you, and so continuing along the process. So we have a discovery where we identify the problem, it goes through development, we have a minimum viable product, an MVP, that is the minimum form of it in its sort of alpha or beta stages. It goes out to the market and they work with all of these other teams to get that product out to the market, and it goes through growth. So how are we going to grow it and mature it, and then it reaches its end of cycle, which is the expiry. So, thinking about the product development, and this is taken from the wonderful Google Innovator Program, which you guys may have seen in session one, so I won't spend a lot of time on it, but it's an idea of constant iteration. The arrows don't stop, right? It doesn't start and begin. It's always evolving. And time and with technology in 2022 and beyond, things are going so rapidly, we can't keep up with tech. It's got to continue to evolve. All right, so these are the three things that I picked out as things that we could take from the product life cycle, for example, product management, and we could start to think about how can we help to apply this for students so that we can help them prepare for jobs that are coming for tomorrow, which many of them are unknown. So we took a look at user stories and user journeys a little bit more in the first session. We talked about the daily stand up, and I just wanted to spend 30 seconds or so to ask you guys in the chat actually what your ideas are about where are some other opportunities that you might be able to use the idea of a daily stand up. So if you haven't had a chance to watch session number one, this is basically a 10-minute or less meeting, as it were, as short as possible, where you're checking in with staff or students, depending on what your role is in education, and you're checking in on what are they going to be doing for the day or for the lesson. Where else might we be able to apply that in education? While you guys are thinking about ideas, there was one that I saw one maybe a year ago now where the stand up that had in order to get people to make it as short as possible, people had to do planks. So you had to get on the floor and you had to sit or position in a plank on the floor, and you had to hold the plank for the length of the meeting. And believe me, it pushes people to get through their points in a very succinct way. James says maybe with other team members, busy people, but it's good to keep up. Absolutely. So these check-ins, we do them in lessons, right? Ahead of lessons and at the end of lessons. But I'm also thinking about things like staff meetings. So if you are a leader, for example, and you're catching this session, what a great way to consider doing your weekly briefings, that staff briefing we often see in education, as a stand-up. So instead of people coming and sitting and having coffee and we're going to be here for 15 or 20 minutes, make it a daily stand up where we're sharing. My sometimes people sit and my boss says, oh, is that the whole point of a stand up, is that we're sitting? It doesn't actually matter if you're planking, you're sitting, or you're standing, but the point is you want to come to the table with really succinct and ideas that you're sharing about where you're taking it. A staff briefing is another one for sure. Also, the staff meetings at the end of the day. Who decided that staff meetings had to be 60 minutes? Let me know in the chat if you like sitting through 60 minutes just to sit there for 60 minutes. Why? Right? We're bringing our James says sometimes we get to 90 minutes. That's the whole point. How are we using the time as efficiently and effectively as possible to share the points we need and then move on to other areas where staff can be productive and give them their time back, right? For lesson planning, marking, etc. All right, let's get on to crazy eights just so that we don't lose time. I may make it 5 minutes instead of 8 just to give you guys the idea. So if you've been through the Google Innovator Program, which some of you have, then this will not be new for you. If, however, because it's for the first time this year, Spark Camp Saturday is open up to the whole world and you haven't done something called the design sprint before, this could be really cool. And we're going to go through just a couple of examples of tools in a second. And I have a couple open for you. I've taken this one from a mural board. So this is a Crazy 8 template from a mural board. Other Google innovators have adopted them as Kanban boards, and there are loads of templates, and some of them are resources in the deck that I'll ask Andy to link in after. But what basically the idea is you come with a problem. So think about your most frustrating problem that you have now in education, guys. What is really bugging you right now? Whether you're a teacher in the classroom and it's from your day to day, or you're a leader in your school and you think, gosh, we're just not getting this right. What can we do about it? Or you're a forward thinker and you're thinking about, gosh, this is a problem across all of education. So think about a problem. If you can't think of a problem in education, then think about something that's bugging you in life. Maybe the lineups to get petrol, maybe the economy prices, whatever it is. Think about something, and we're going to have a go at Crazy Eight. So, actually, I just realized that you guys won't be able to. Let's see if I can copy that link there. Okay, that's the link to the Jamboard. I just dropped it in the Google Meet chat, guys, because I just realized that the board is not linked into the session yet. Okay, so we're going to go over to the Crazy Eights, and the idea is you can use any of the tools on this paper. I think we're more than 6 people in the Google Meet, which I didn't anticipate. So just grab the board, guys, if you click on the arrow at the bottom, and you can just duplicate it using the 3 dots at the top and just click duplicate, and then you can get more rows. Grab a sticky note or the text box on the left. If you've not used Jamboard, then it's a great way to introduce you. You've got the tools on the left-hand side. So you can use the text box and you can put in your name there. So I'll take the first board and I'll change the text color so that you can see there, Georgina. Awesome. And what we're going to do is we're going to have a stab at Crazy Eight. So think of your problem. If you want to write your problem in the rest of the space that's sort of black at the top, feel free. You can also use sticky notes on the left-hand side, and you can use those as well. So the idea here is you've got your problem in your mind, and you've got 8 minutes. So I've got my timer here on my phone, and I'm literally going to give 8 minutes. And the idea is you're coming up with a solution. What might be one solution? One solution per minute, nothing more. You can use images, so you can use your pen tool and you can draw. You can use the text box, or you can use sticky notes to type it. But the idea is, and there's a rubber tool here if you want to rub it out, is that it's only one idea per box. And then at the end, you're going to select your 2 strongest ideas or ideas that you want to work with. I usually the strongest, so that you think this is actually going to be something that would be a successful build. And then we take that to design. All right, cool. So you've got your problem in your mind, you've got it on your board, and we're going to have a go. We've only got about 5 minutes left, so we'll probably do just the first 3 boxes, but let's have a go. All right, on your marks, get set, go. All right, timer has begun. 35 seconds. And you're just focused on one idea, and you can describe it as much as you want. Again, images, text, but just one idea per box. 20 seconds left, and you're thinking about the solution to this problem. And if you've already finished, you might be thinking ahead for the second point. We've got 5 seconds left. All right, idea number 2, go. This is a solution idea. And while you're going through idea number 2, it's the think about also your creative process, right? Your problem solving process. That first idea might have come like this, and you've been able to document that on your board. What about the second idea? How quickly did that come? And what about the third idea? And think about how many boxes are on this board and how difficult it's going to get to come up potentially with your 8th idea. 30 seconds left for your second idea. Again, this could be related to education, it could be related to anything in the world, and we're having an idea about how can we come up with creative solutions to difficult problems. Or maybe you think it's an easy problem, and why haven't organizations solved it? 10 seconds left. We'll do one more, and that'll be about all the time we have left for. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, third problem, guys. This will be your final one just for today, but it gives you an idea. And then we'll call time. 45 seconds, and I'm going to start to go through some of these examples on the boards, and we'll see. Great. So we've got some sticky notes there. Meetings take too much time. Awesome. Good. And then observations, lesson observations, I believe. Badly produced plastic toys. Awesome. Great. So we had some few examples, and that's time, guys. So thank you so much for those who participated in some of these examples here. As you can see, they can be really brief, they can be really detailed, and it just gives you an idea. So I'll stop my timer there. Great. And we will head back here. Just to give you an idea, you can get this template that I shared today and others in a mural. So if you have, these are some other boards you can see there are some, there's one in there called show and tell, which I thought was really cool because we do show and tell when we are in preschool, right? Well, why did we stop that as an adult? Why is show and tell not a thing anymore? Why is it not a thing in senior school? Storyboards, personas, feedback, project kickoffs, meeting notes, story maps. Look at that one there. I like, I wish, I wonder. We also do that in lower elementary primary school. Why don't we do that anymore? If adults are using these tools in the real world, why is that not a thing? So there's a lot of similarities in overflow, but how are we making sure there's continuity across the board? So we've got 30 seconds left approximately. So I've left you guys some resources. I added a couple more, knowing that I was coming back for round 2 today. So you've got some Agile resources. And I'd love for you guys to listen to this Agile Classrooms podcast here. This is by the Teaching Champions, Brian Martin's podcast, and he interviewed Laura Williams, who actually works in bringing in Scrum processes into classrooms, and there's some really great takeaways. So it's a great place to start if this is something new for you. So thank you so much for tuning in today. Really appreciate you guys joining in and joining me for a product. And back over to Andy.
Thank you, Georgina. Great session. I have put the link for everyone to the next session in the chat. So if people want to jump over there, I'll also stop our recording. Thank you very much.